Hello everyone. This is how to make a stand-up needlepoint box, basically is what I make on this. It's going to have feet on it, and we'll have a whole section of how I like to deal with putting little feet on the bottom. And it is a little further along than I typically do, but I decided this is one of the last ones that I have available to me to make a video of, so I better use it while I actually have one to do, because a lot of times I only have one, and I don't know how long it'll be before I get another one. So you'll see that I've already cut all the foam core and things, so I'll go through all that. We're going to get started with basically push all this good stuff aside. You can see that I've already put the interfacing on the piece that's going to go around it. There are multiple ways that people do this kind of stand-up. This is a basic square stand-up. I would essentially do the same thing for a shaped and just use the scoring process that I use in the lobster trap ornament to make it curve across the top, because some people will take I think it's 2-inch styrofoam, and just take the styrofoam, draw out how big you need it, cut the foam, glue this piece to it, the foam, glue this piece to the foam, and then take ribbon and finish off the edge with really thick ribbon. But I find that the styrofoam is kind of unstable. Sorry, right on a curve here. And what by unstable, I mean that I just feel it doesn't hold up as well. So I literally build a box when I am doing one of these stand-ups. So on this particular piece, I don't know why when I had started this, I used a piece of mat board and I beveled the edge. All the beveled edges go to the interior so that all of your sides will meet very crisply. Okay, so you can see when they come together, it's like this. All right. Now, typically when I do ornaments and things, I put them like this so that you don't have a lot of gutter to fill. But this is different. We want this to have nice tight edges when we make it. Now, we will be filling the void after we build it. You'll see it's done just like my stand-up brick cover, where you build the front part of the box, and then we're going to put the feet on, and we're going to put foam inside of it, styrofoam inside of it, to fill the void, and then we sew the back on. Okay, so that's kind of the basics of it. When I do my corners, I typically do like I do with everything, where I make the V-cut in at just the corner. You can see I didn't dart the edge of these. And I fold this side in, and I come around to this side, and I fold this side in, and then I folded this in, and then I brought in sorry, you're not going to be able to, there we go. Then I brought in the corners to get that edge. Okay, and literally wrap it right around, because I don't want to see any waste canvas. I think it's a little better on this side. I don't want to see the waste canvas when I put it in. Okay, I want the cording to sit on this edge when it's sewn on, and not be having to cover up a lot of mechanics. Okay, so let's get started with this. And because we've already done these, the back and the front, we're going to start with how I put the sides together. The sides are done on one continuous piece, okay? And so I'm going to lay this piece like this. I'm going to kind of mark out where I want that to be. That to be. And actually, please bear with me. It's been a little while since I've, hold on, I gotta move my vise. It's a little cramped down here. Alright, so I am starting with the side. I'm going to start with the bottom piece. Actually, it doesn't matter. I already darted it. Let's just go for it. I was obviously in the middle of making this, and I want to take this, kind of finger press the edge a little. This foil that's on the material is help give it a little bend, better edge there, I hope. Okay, so we lay that back down. I just wasn't planning on videoing this, but I thought, you know, better do it. Better do it while I've got it. Okay, just bringing that right up. Okay. Right. Put a little finger crease on that when I'm done with all the sides. Finger pressing. So this is 2.5 inches wide. And the reason I did that is because I need to make sure that I can fit these ball feet right underneath it. And if I make this too thin, then I don't want these to look like, you know, this underneath and so close together. The whole point of feet is, you know, for stabilization. So we take our long side and we're going to butt that right up against the other one. Okay. I like doing it this way as far as the sides go, because the one continuous piece, if I was to put fabric, remove that. If I was to put fabric on each one of these panels, I would have to sew each one of these seams, sew each panel together, so we're eliminating some sewing by doing this. Which, who doesn't love that? You know, I mean, we're going to have to sew the cording on anyway. There's one thing I want. I'm not anti-glue. When, you know, if you want to glue cording on, that's, you know, you go for it. But I'm going to share a little, I don't know if I already did this in another video. I had an aunt who made the most gorgeous Christmas ornaments for us when I was a child back in the 70s. And we loved them so much. But the things that she used were things from the 70s. They were pins and things like that. And throughout the years, it was hard to kind of keep them nice, even though, you know, because little kids want to touch them and aren't they pretty? And sometimes the pins would fall out and different things. And I worry about when it's an object that people are going to handle more often, that we want to keep it nice and stable. So, you know, if you're gluing that cording on, do yourself a favor and at least run a stitch at the top. Okay? Because, you know, that'll help ensure that your bow stays where you want it to stay, or your, you know, other piece comes in and stays where you want it put. Okay. Just for just that little bit of security. I would definitely not do it on this for the exact reason that I talked about. This is a piece that will be handled by people. And that's why I do cording, why I sew cording on things like this. But again, you do what you're good with and what works for you. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's one of the practical reasons for why I don't do that. All right. And aside. Definitely keep them straight, because all of a sudden you'll go to put your, which panel goes where, because you'll go to put it around and go, oh, that doesn't bend quite right. It's a little beyond where I need it, but it'll be okay. We can't do it. Go ahead while I'm over here. We know we're coming this way, right? And I am also not saying that you shouldn't use the styrofoam. I find that the feet don't always stay really well in styrofoam. I do have to do it for things such as Easter eggs. There's, you know, kind of don't have a lot of choices for being able to get the shape that you want and how they're going to be in. So those require special ways of handling it, which that is a video that will be made shortly. Okay, almost there. Now, when we go to put it together, there's going to be the the test if I measured correctly. Everything looks pretty when you put it together until you try to marry all the sides to the actual boards. I go, whoa. Even though I measured twice. Might have been off by an eighth. Should be okay. There. I actually kind of use the same concept when I make boxed pillows. What I'm doing here. Very precise measurements. Okay. guess that's just how my brain was able to make sense of how to do it. Box pillows, that is, because I hate them. All right. This is just a cotton fabric, and while it is lovely, I still like the weight of it when I'm doing hand sewing for a cording or even just sewing the seams together. To have that fusible interfacing on it, it just makes the world a difference in my opinion. Just gonna tag these down. On the one side to keep them from popping out when we get this all put around. All right, let's do this. So I'm gonna do this side. It's one of those times where it's nice having a relatively large work table. I'm gonna pull that right up, making sure, trying not to dent that corner because I don't want to round it. Okay. And cut that. Oh, silly. Only nip scissors for things like this. Okay. Alright. Let's flip this around. Did it get it? Oh, I don't know if my glue got that. Might have. It's just press it down enough. Fly away there. Okay. Alright. Corner and wow. That sounds like I'm slamming my glue around. So now, all one piece, that seam will be right at the bottom. Okay. So now let's pin this edge here. Pin it right There. And then take it and grab just a tiny bit because you don't want to ruin that edge. I'm just barely grabbing the material with my pin to hold these two pieces together. Okay. Okay. Of course, doing that made it bend my pin up. Okay. Bottom. We don't want the seam at the top. We want it at the bottom. So let's push this. Look at that. Ta-da! How glorious when it comes together. So this literally, because those bevels are the way that they are, is kind of sitting right in on the edge of that bevel. And I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. Now I want the top side to I want to make sure that's okay. So I'm going to go through, hold on a second. Okay, so auto focus back on. Bring this in a little bit. It's hard to see with the dark this is. So what I want to do is I'm going right through, hold on. Going through the top stitches. There's one right here. I'm going right through the top and just grabbing right there. See? Okay? Because we want this edge to be held right where we want it. If I can find one without tons of glue on it. Alright? We want it to be held right in the spot where we want it. Like that. And we're pushing that back in a little bit. Okay. Now when we sew it, it's gonna take on a different light. Okay. Push that back under. Now I'm going to come around here to the opposite side and then put this top side in. If you noticed, I did not get as good of a turn under on this side, the canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and just catch this row here. Alright. Come down to here. Put my fingers under and push this little bit up. Because I'm gonna, when I stitch it, it should do what I want it to do so that they all run right along the edge, but this corner was up a little higher than the other ones. Sorry, my fingers are right in the camera. Okay, so now when we come here, you need to push this in against, and that's also where you can take advantage of that bevel edge and kind of push it in. All right. Oh my goodness, I gotta go through and clean all my pins again. Okay. Again, we gotta lift it up on my hand like this. I'm supporting the underside with my fingers, underside of the needle point, so I can make sure to put that right where I want it. Okay? Because I don't want to play with a gap as I'm sewing. I just want to be able to go sewing right along and not have any issues. Okay, that's good. And you know what I think we need to do? Yeah, we're okay. It all works out in the end. Okay, get my fingers right under there. Keeps wanting to pop up on that corner. That's why sometimes I like to put them in through the other side, so that it just doesn't pop straight up on those pins as you're working around it. But all right. Okay. Bring it back up again. Okay. Do this. Give me a second to get readjusted. Now, I'm not going to do the back side, but I just want to throw this on. See how it fits. Okay, fits pretty good. This side's gonna have to be pulled out just a skosh. Oh, there we go. I got it. Again, I'll work out. I could probably shave a little bit off of one side. This is why it is wise to not do this piece before. Lesson to all of you out there. I just made the cardinal mistake. I made the back piece before I was done. Shouldn't do that. I know better. Alright, let's get that up. Like that. Because what happens is the way this seam is, it's going to do that. But I'm okay. I'm saying I'm okay, but I'm sitting here looking at it saying, I'm not okay. Alright, that will pull in. That is good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take an 1/8 inch off. Just gonna. Just that tiny smidge is gonna make the difference for me. Okay. So we'll deal with that later. For right now, I am going to sew the front on so I don't have all these ridiculous pins to have to deal with. Let's get all our sewing paraphernalia on. And a little rubber thumb. And here is the fishing. Feel free to fast forward through, as I'll probably just be jabbering along and not really saying anything important. You always start at the bottom, work your way around. Whoops, that was the top. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this seam. I'll go up and around. And you definitely want to make sure to leave a gap for wherever you want to do your cording. Some of you may not want to do cording and may have some really cute piece of trim that you want to put on there. Whatever works for you. Get creative. So when you put, we are going to put some ribbon around the outside of this and zhuzh it up with a bow and all of the goodies that go on top of it. But I am going to be securing them all on the outer ribbon. I don't put any pins into things. I worry about small children touching them, taking them out. You can use them, but this isn't necessarily my piece to be adding things like that to it when they might not expect it. So I try to get ribbons with funky edges on them so that it's something that stays on of its own volition. All right, let's sew. Let's move this back. Oh, the glue, the glue. The glue at the corners makes it difficult. So I'm going to go back a hitch. Okay. Like that. Now I turn it back around. It's so difficult to come up through in the corner and put a stitch right to that corner with all of the glue that is mushed in there. Sometimes it's just easier to go a little further in and come back. Now I'm hitting my pin, so I'm going to just take it out. Let's get all of the fun stuff ready. All right. So in the past, I've had some stand-ups that I've had to repair because of weights that they have put on the interior cavity to have it be a little more stable. If you're going to do that, make sure that you break a brick apart, use heavy screws. Don't use tiny metal shards or peas or rice, anything that is going to have potential for storing moisture. I don't know about where you live, but on Cape Cod, we have a lot of lovely, beautiful salt air and humidity and a lot of damp. So, yeah, it's just safer to use things that aren't going to degrade than it is to use something that could potentially, tiny pieces start sounding like a rattle on the inside because what they were kept in, encased in, baggy, whatever, broke. You'd be surprised what you see. Maybe you wouldn't. Alright. So we're just going back and forth. I guess I was told it was a binding stitch, but I guess it's also called ladder stitch. I don't know. And just go back and forth on this seam. You don't ever start cording on a corner. So we don't want to leave our hole until somewhere along the straight edge. I find it's too difficult to marry them together and have it look like a smooth transition. I have chosen a solid color for the edging on this, as with the print on the back. Now just remember, if you don't like the way this edge looks, just go back through and finger press it together a little smoother. Have a lot of glue on my needle here. Let's try to get some of that off. Okay, back to it. Now, I'm going to be utilizing desktop, worktop, whatever. I am going to put a knot in here too. It's funny, things that I've been doing videos on recently either seem to be really dark or something, and so it ends up having my video camera autofocus or auto contrast and everything be a little wonky. But I can only video what I have. Alright. Okay, here we go. Where did that come from? Sorry, I got a little piece of material that decided to pop up through. Alright. Trying to figure out how to grip this best way. Oh, boy. Now, we are going to be doing this again with cording. So, you can kind of run your stitches a little bigger. Trying to smooth as I go. I really do try to, when I put something like this together, make it so that even if the cording came off, it would still look like you didn't even need it there. Alright, I think we're going to do our cording right next to that heart. That action right there, pulling that needle, is why I have arthritis in my thumb. And to the corner. Alright. Ugh. Go through. Goodness. Okay. This is also the way I do my card boxes, as in the outside panels. I do lay them the same way on a large piece of fabric. Yeah, come on. Okay. Yep. My thumb's giving out. Let's see if I can pull that through. Not sure if I'm just catching that too deep or what, but woof. That's a challenge. should just be catching a little bit. Sorry. Okay. Good. Good grief, what I do is boring. As far as it's like watching paint dry. Ooh, I think I just found what my problem was. Okay. You know, there are a lot of times people will ask, you know, oh, do you get paid per hour? Do you get paid per... It takes what it takes. I'm not gonna rush through something. You know, this is all piecework that we do when we are finishers. And for me, it's not about rushing to increase my profit line. Well, it probably should be, but that's just not how I am. Or a business manager would tell me that's how I should do it, but that's just not how I am. Maybe I should start playing music in the background so you guys have something to listen to while I sew. But I'm not gonna go with the theme of the project that I'm working on, because I am not ready for Christmas music yet. And especially since 90% of my year is filled with Christmas or Halloween. Sometimes Easter. I see so many beautiful pieces that come through. Whether it's continental stitch or fancy stitching, they're all lovely. Sometimes I get older pieces that are being given a new life. Love seeing those too. They're definitely not as easy to refurbish, but because it's always easiest to do it the first time. Oop, my tail's getting away from me. We are almost there. Woohoo! Celebrate. Uh-huh. Getting ahead of myself, getting all excited. Look at that. I don't know what I did here compared to there, down at the bottom, but I like the way that went through. It's the little things in my life that make me happy. The needle that runs smoothly through. The hot glue that doesn't burn me. Yep. This difficulty is coming because I am pulling through stitches more than grabbing the underside of the waist canvas. Something to be said. And it's causing a little ripple effect there too. All right, get this. I'm gonna move that out of my face a little bit. Come on. Ivy. Come on. Urgh. Alright. Now I gotta pull this canvas back, smooth it out from where I bent it with my curved needle. So, what have we learned about going around this piece? I have learned that when I go to sew the cording in, I am sewing it into the fabric. And the heck with hitting the needle point too much. Just gonna have to hold it over here temporarily. Okay. I don't remember which side I ended up on. last one's gonna be a little devil. Now, in the past, come on, camera, focus. Sorry about that. That's why I usually try to keep it on a different setting. I've went to grab just a tiny bit of needle out of there and completely broken off the tip of my curved needle. So be careful. Don't hurt yourself. Okay. Oh goodness. This is why I hate that autofocus. Okay. Alright. Now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go right back down that seam. Why not? Just cinch it up a tiny bit tighter. I'm going to try to go in between the stitches I put in before. Be there. My goodness, making me nuts. I'm gonna pinch those right together and smooth them down. Try to catch on the underside of that foil because that foil likes to leave kind of a big hole. Okay. Take it, come there, bring it up over here. That. Okay. Come up over there, pull that little tail through, and here we go. Boop. Now, little bits. Here's our, and you can see you have all these nice edges with no seams. 3 seconds. then you hit this one, and you really can't see it all that much. And it'll be hidden by another piece of ribbon. You can also take and steam this edge, but you're really not going to see it when it's sitting like this. That's where you're seeing it. Okay. So, the next thing, we're going to think about this. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to decide where our feet are going to go so we can make some small pilot holes now. You want to do that? No, we're going to finish the box. So with finishing the box, that means we need to find my little ruler. I would like this to be 7 7/8 by 5 7/8. Yeah, that's a full, yeah. So we got the 7 7/8. We need that 1/4 inch off. Okay, well, hold on. I'm going to cut a new backside and a new piece of fabric, and I will be right back. Okay. We are going to, now that I've gotten my fabric on correctly on a board that actually fits, lesson to you all. Sometimes even people that do this all the time forget their own rule of thumb. Always wait to do the back side until you have actually put it together and you know the actual measurements. I was taking the measurements from the back side of this, and I should not. So, here we have it. It's all ready to be put on, but wait. We have to fill it. We can't leave it empty. I'm not leaving this empty. It's silly. So, what we need to do is we need to get our foam. This is 2-inch foam. Okay. And when we measure the interior, you can see it is 7 3/4 by about 5 3/4. I'd rather put a couple of shims in to tighten it up than to have issues. So this up here, is it long enough? It is. All right. So 5 3/4. Okay. 7 3/4. All right. Hold on, I gotta get my hot cutter up here. All right. Oh yes, look at that. So this cutter is just a foam cutter. I put this in here because mine is a very inexpensive version, and that foam, I'll helps it keep it, the wire taut. So let's see. I am going to just push it through. Still freaks me out. I don't like getting my fingers near it. Same with my my little bandsaw that I have. Watch your digits, people. Having to take that little block out that I have. Okay. Got a little wobbly at the end because I took my block out and it made so my wire wasn't as tight vertically. But still pretty darn good. And we can kind of mash it down if it's not quite right, but I'm going to turn this off. Whew, it stinks. There we go. Unplug it. Alright, let's see how well I did. Ooh, that's pretty snug. Alright, hope it's not messing anything else up. No gaping holes from snugness around the front. No? Okay, pretty good. Okay. That, but if we were to leave it like this, there's no support. We still need a piece here because this is only 2 inches. So, let me see. This is too thick, or is this going to be just right? Just right. Goldilocks achieved. Maybe just a little more? Oh, no Goldilocks yet. Oh, I see what it is. This is a piece of foam core that's got a little bow to it. So we're going to put the curved side down in. Boing, boing. Okay, that's good. Oh, the fun part again. Sewing. Oh, we love sewing. Don't we love sewing? Yeah, no, not so much. Yeah. Well, this time it should be a little bit easier just because I am not going to finish that statement because every time I make statements like that, I end up having an issue pulling it through and I look ridiculous. Come on. Alright. This time I am going to have them intermittently grabbing the top and the bottom, I think. I think I might. All right. I'm putting that pin in at an angle like this, grabbing a little bit of the fabric from the top piece and sliding it down into that styrofoam that I have underneath. If I was thinking, which obviously I wasn't, I could have put a dollop of hot glue on everything, but styrofoam doesn't always like glue. It likes to melt at a lower temperature. So let's just not do that either. Let's just use some pins. Because we have that little bit of extra on the inside this time. Seems to be holding it nicely with fewer pins. Okay. There and there and there. Okay. Again, that can also be famous last words. And okay. I know, it looks like I'm doing some bad mime imitation of sewing with my lovely invisible thread. 6-pound fishing test, to be exact. There. Done so many of these now. I just assume you guys know what I use in everything. Uh-oh. Gotta plug back in my glue gun. Ooh, perfect. Just enough. I unplugged it so I could plug in my styrofoam cutter. Our strip is quite full with all my lights and everything. Time to put on my extra set of glasses on top of my progressive lenses. And bottom. And I'm just gonna dive right in. Start right here. Sometimes with the dark fabric, you pull it through and you'll get the light color popping up through. And if you would like to fast forward, feel free. I doubt I will be imparting any specific wisdoms. Just blathering on. Ugh. Or as big, haha, of a work table as I have. Sure hit a lot of stuff when I'm sewing. As you can see, as I'm going around, you can see the edges kind of, as I release the tension, it likes to show that there's a lot of give still. So when I get to the end of this, because I want the seam to be tight, I will be putting a knot in. If I turn the corner and it's still a little loose, I don't want to have to go back around again. Stop that. There we go. And I don't want to take the pins out yet, because I'll be fighting to keep that seam closed. Alright, I'm going to do a knot right now. Nice and tight. Of course. Hold on. Alright, so I can take these pins out so that hopefully my thread won't constantly catch on them. Ooh. I'll leave that strip at the corner open. So I think I didn't leave my stitches loose enough going all around there. is amazing how nicely the beveled edges just come together. But I do love how we can, on card boxes, avoid having to sew panels together by doing the trick that we did to the edge. Just one long piece. All right. Didn't want to go up into the corner, but I'm gonna have to. Got too close. Push that down then. So when I was a kid, my grandmother had all of these little cigarette and cigar boxes. They're little boxes, and they had covered them in fabric with just, plain old Elmer's glue, I guess. And I think that's kind of when my love of pretty little boxes started. So then when I would get things at Christmas that were jewelry, I would take them apart and see how they, the manufacturers, would put them together. And how they looked so pretty with this little velvet, if you got a ring and it's got the slit in the foam, and just so ever so pretty. So when I do these boxed stand-up pieces, and I think it's nice to have something that feels very solid and just doing the the styrofoam in the center, so it's basically like what I do with my boxed ornaments, where you're just putting a piece of foam in between. It's great. As far as it is a alternative if you just are not into doing a whole box, it works. It does. I've seen many of them. And doing shaped stand-ups, integral part of being able to do that is by using the styrofoam. But those lovely boxes from my childhood definitely made me love putting together something like this, where the seams are so nice, and not that my grandmothers weren't, but I mean, she's from the Depression era, so she saved everything. They saved all of their fabric, and if they wanted a special box like that to keep trinkets in, so they didn't have to buy them, that's what they did. I was very lucky to have a grandmother for so long. And let me have free reign in her material boxes and sewing boxes. And she saved everything, so I definitely took advantage of being able to create whatever I wanted. Okay, I'm going to run that tail out and cut this off. Okay. Alright. Alright. So the next step is sewing the cording on. Again, sewing! Woo! Yeah, okay, I'm trying to fake it till I make it on that one. I'm just kind of breaking down the foam core right there so I can slide this in. Boy, that's got an ugly end on it, doesn't it? Not very smooth. It's just, please note, I really don't touch it until it's had a second to kind of cool off. And because I have been doing this for so long, I kind of have a thick callus of skin there. I don't know if you're... For me, it was my grandma. She was a big baker, and she was, she just sometimes grab onto those pans. I'm like, hot pad, lady, hot pad. But, or she'd grab something out and it just didn't even faze her for the same reason. Come off of there, silly. Alright. How bad are you all sketched out? Alright. Every once in a while I have to look up and double check that I actually hit record. Because I have done that where an entire section of the boxed ornament was lost because I didn't record it. I didn't hit record. It was awful. Get that back up there where I can find it. Make my knot. I will say that when you're doing the, if you decide to do the foam on the, instead of the foam core and just do a foam brick and then put ribbon around it, I would make sure that your foam comes out just a little bit so that when you put the ribbon, you don't want it to be sunken in away from your back panel and your front panel. And also, again, make the back panel after you have cut the foam, because your foam might not be the perfect size. This exact same size as on the front. Sometimes that's tough to do. That's why I have that cutter, which again, doesn't always do it. There's ways that you can kind of use a very thin batting to wrap around it and then put your ribbon on it, but that's going to take away your sharp corners. That's the other reason why I like this spot. Oh, I just lost my needle. Brilliant. Is that, oh, hello. Is that you have nice sharp corners on this. So it just really has a very crisp finished look to it. It can be kind of tough with the foam depending on the kind that you're using, and also over time people gripping it, it can be a little mushy and can round the corners out. Alright, you ready? Gonna sew. You're free to fast forward because it's boring. And I am going to come up I'm going to be able to get this to light up with this. Okay, I am coming up in the fabric because this was so thick and I had such a difficult time with it. Pulling this in, and when I sew cording on, alright, I do not want all of that unstitched, so I am going to do a little how much room do I have there? Nope, I got a thing in between. Okay. Alright, alright, alright. Come back here. See this line? I bring that right into there. I'm going to grab deeper on the fabric part so it'll pull it in tight. Alright. I gotta move this lamp because I moved it closer so that you could see. Alright. I'm going to come up a little. Okay. I just wanted to see you to see how I really am grabbing the fabric part of it because I had such a difficult time pulling it through. The needlepoint part. Pulled too much fishing line out. Oh dear, I'm getting all caught up in my pin cushion. Arr, 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 arr. Okay. Hmm. Well, I like the effect of this. Okay. There. Alright, I need to make sure. I'm gonna be not happy if this doesn't. Oh my giddy aunt. Dear. It is not gonna go. Wow. Well. Looks like I gotta make some more cording. Glad I checked and didn't get too far into it. Another lesson for you all. Oh dear. Let's try not again. So sometimes trying to repurpose thread that you didn't get to use on something else doesn't always work out. Oh yeah. Okay, well, let's see. Alright, let's just pop this in. Oh my goodness, now it doesn't want to go in. Hold on. It's because this is much thicker. An end piece. There we go. There. Jeez. Alright. I don't know, sometimes having to change things sometimes creates a even better option. We'll see how this fuzzy goes on. It doesn't look good, I will switch it out. This is very soft, so I don't necessarily want to yank on it. Again, just catching the material. I went with this because some of the extra, the ribbon that I got was actually fuzzy, like the trim on Santa's hat would be. So this might be a cute option. And this fiber, you just kind of have to comb it if you've stitched under some of the fluff, just like with your fibers that you use. You have to comb to bring the texture of it back up. And this also is very stretchy. So this fiber is yarn. It's actually a yarn that I had here versus a floss. I like it. Looks pretty even. So you definitely want to be careful as you're going around that you're keeping your cording distance. It's very easy to kind of untwist or over twist as you're stitching it in. But when you have bicolor and tricolor cords, you need to be able to take it a little tighter or looser. There we go. I had to cut through the corner of the piece. So I'm going to now put it into the fabric. Yep. Okay. Push it down on the corner. And we go way back here with the stitch. Let's see if that'll work. Yep, gonna work. I mean, you really can use anything as cording. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Sometimes I have to convince myself that what I'm doing is okay. I don't like to get 3/4 of the way around and be disappointed with how smooth it's running or the fact that I just ran out of cording because I didn't double check. I just went, I can use these on this project. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, it happens. Oh, the neighbor's home. All right. Sorry about that. I needed to turn my phone up. It's getting that time of day when they're going to start calling me. All right. Keep hitting my lamp. Okay. Oh, I told you. Okay. I mean, don't they know what I'm doing? Important things going on here. Courting. I love how when people call you and they know where you are and they know what you do and they say, "What are you doing?" "I'm eating bonbons by the pool." "What do you think I'm doing?" "I'm sewing. I'm working." Right? Totally. The odds are with you if you have to ask that question. The odds are with you that you can just assume that I'm working. It's also kind of hard to see the two different cordings in here, that white on white. Alright. Cutting through the corner again. We're on the home stretch, and then we go on to the back side. Whoop. I totally missed that. Okay. Need to get my jar of goo gone down here because I am Having serious glue issues. I would be getting so excited right now because we are almost there, but I know we have another backside to do. And I totally just hit the camera with my glasses. Sorry about that. Alright. Fishing line. Tie it off. Yeah. Just looking at this, I was thinking, here I am tying it off with fishing line, and probably be something pretty good to use for a fishing lure. Okay. Tie it off in 2 parts. Snip between. Get my glue gun. The fluffier it is, the more difficult it is to manage gluing. Licking my fingers, just like grandma in the hot pan, or snuffing out a candle. Please don't do that and burn yourself, people. You can also use these lovely paddle and just squish it down. I forget I have those, so my apologies. All right. Let's pull this through like that. And let's find, I'm going to lift that one up a little and put that in and push it through and just kind of push it until it looks, look at that. Boy, I like this even more for the burying, being able to bury that so easily. I'm going to put another stitch there. And let's try to push this down so it doesn't grab stuff from the top. Okay. Yeah, I don't like the way that's kind of lifting, so I'm going to put another stitch in. Right there. There. Now, going to make a knot. Just flicking up all of those bits. All right. All right. I am going to sew the cording on the back and be right back to you. Okay, I don't think you need to see me sit and sew another set of cording on here. So I will be back momentarily. We now have both sides corded. I am very happy that I mucked up earlier with the other cording because I really like how this looks, adding a little dimension to it, but very soft looking. So now is the time we decide what we're going to do. This has so much going on, and the fabric has so much going on. I decided to keep it really simple with the bows, well, with the bow part, and just do whites and potentially maybe a touch of blue. You can see that this is sheer. So these might be tucks that I put into the bow, which will go on later. Now, I really like this satin, but the satin has a wire edge. And when you put it on, see how the edges kind of are ripply? They ripple along the edge. So I'm going to attempt, so all of the beginning and ending will happen at the top. Let's cut this. I love wire edge ribbon. When you store it, you have a better chance of being able to fluff it and manipulate it back to the way it should be versus the way it might have gotten when you packaged it up for the winter. I always take tissues and ball them up and stuff them in all my bows to make sure that, you know, they don't flatten and crease. But, so this is what we're going to do. Okay, let's see if we can see this. I'm pushing down and see the wire coming out. Come on. I'm grabbing that wire. Okay. Bring it out and kind of bend it over so you have a little bit better to hold on to it. And we're going to try not to grab the little stuff there. And we're going to start pulling. Try to keep your ribbon as straight as possible when you're pulling it. Don't let it gather, because the satin is going to leave little pull marks that we are going to try to see if we can iron it out. And I know you're going to say, well, Kelly, why don't you just buy the other ribbon? Well, the problem with buying the other ribbon that doesn't have it is it might not be the right same exact shade. It might not be the same exact size. I don't want that gathering. Trying to eliminate as much of that as possible. Oop, I lost it. Okay, running right off. Okay. I'm going to press it and pause. Okay. Does. Now, no, I told you earlier, I don't like it when people use pins, etc. And I don't. But we need to use pins right here at the beginning. And it's all going to be buried under the bow, which is going to be stitched on. I need to be able to tack it down. And I want to fold that corner. I want this out here to front. You know what? It's going to be covered by the bow. I can help. If I need to retuck it, I'll retuck it. Okay. Okay. I knew it was going to do that. Kelly, if you knew it was going to do that, why did you do that? So it just pulled right out of the, right through the nylon, just shredded. All right. Fine, fine, fine. How it's done. Get a little bead running. Okay. See it? Can you see that? I'm trying to see where you can see it best. Okay. Melt all those ends together. Turn it over like that. Now, I didn't do this a minute ago, but not quite. I'm gonna scooch it over a little. All right, hold on. I'm gonna iron this edge down. Okay. I'm going to pin it there. And put a couple more in for good measure. So the pins that I was referring to is sometimes people put beads down the edges, and they will put crystals and things like that, and that's wonderful. I just don't like to take that chance unless somebody specifically tells me it's okay to do that. So embellish away if it is your own piece. I am all for that. Okay. Now, I am trying to keep it nice and tight so that it is nice and flat. I'm looking at, okay, shift you over some. Okay. That tight. Oh, look at that little alfalfa looking piece of ribbon. This. Satin ribbon is not forgiving. Dry skin, any of that, I'm like catching my fingers on it like crazy. I so rarely use flat heads that, let's see, it's bowing on this side. Come on, shift. It really doesn't like doing what it's told to do. There's another reason why I am not stitching this particular area at the moment. It's because of how not nice this reacts to, lost my dowel needle. Here's my shorter, fatter dowel needle. Because it snags and is so not always very happy with stitching, and I don't have any interfacing on it. It's going to do what it did before, and it's just going to shred, and it's going to have pull marks, and it's going to get ugly. Well, once the bow is made, we're going to hide the mechanics, hopefully, or I'll be doing some fly by the seat of my pants sewing. But we'll cover it. Okay, so we have our first layer. I have a little bit of ripple up at the top, but that's okay. It's going to be hidden by the bow. I don't mind that. Okay? Alright, now that is really shiny. So remember how I told you that I found this ribbon? Not really ribbon, it's fluff, but it's got a wire edge to it, and it matches our edging. Looks like the trim on Santa's hat. So this is next, and I am going to fold this under. Am I? It's material under there. I'm just concerned. Yeah, I'm going to pull some of this fluff off to thin it down a little so it's not such a thick edge. Sparkly glitter, no shocker there. Especially when you see, I don't know why I put those away, when you see all of the things that we have coming up to put on this. Okay, this time I'm only going to put on 2. Okay. Now this also has a wire edge, but because it's a little, let's say, rougher, rustic edging, I don't really mind that it's doesn't really lift. It's not pulling away severely. If I need to, I can always run a bead of this Fabri-Tac glue that I use, but I don't think it'll be necessary. So this customer asked for all the goodies that can go on top, so I have some. Now, I'm not just using this ribbon. I have a bunch of different ribbon for the top. I'm not going to make it so monstrous, though, that it takes away from this. The giant bow on the top, I just think it overshadows what it's supposed to, you know, all this beautiful stitching and the beadwork that's been done. So, oh, I got a lamp that's in my shot. Oh well. So at this point, we are going to, I'm going to grab this and see if I can pull it over a little. Yeah. And get under this. Slide it just a little, I think. Alright. So now we need to put our feet on. We need to figure out how far down we want our feet. Okay, and I would say it's about 1¼ inch to the screw mark. Okay, this is a it has some paint embedded in the screw. Excuse me for a second while I talk to you about feet. So what I like to do is I like this is just a round wooden ball that looked like this, and I got a screw, which of course I can't find. Here we go. I have a few different screws. This one is a little fatter, but you can find screws that have a smaller head that will drop down in there. I also potentially might have drilled these out larger so that I could put these particular screws in. Longer ones aren't always better because if you don't get them in at quite the right angle, another way you can do it if you want more of a rounded, I just took wood glue. Let's see if it'll focus on it. I just took wood glue and glued this to the top, and that worked pretty well. You can also get the same with this, the flat, and then drill the hole out and just drop the screw right in, and just kind of eyeball it and try to get it straight. I can see that this one isn't quite perfectly straight, so this could be a challenge, but we'll get it in there and it'll look great. So we're going to, now I can put my pins away. All right. The other way that you can do it is to, before you put the back on and the styrofoam in, is you can also buy, for really fancy ones, you can go to like Hobby Lobby and you can get a drawer pull and you can make a pilot hole and put your screw up in, put a washer on the top side and screw it down. So that you can have like really fancy ones and they stay. These, we're just going to screw them right up in these holes and they will stay. If you want, you can untwist them, pour some glue into it, then retwist them back in, and then you have best of both worlds. You glue it and it's screwed up in there. This paint is actually enamel model paint. It's really tough. It's really a nice, this is kind of a funky finish on it, but I don't know, I like it. So let's get started by, need our dowel needle here. Any other problem with dull needle? The big ones? This is gray. And a lot of times it's hidden right in front of my face. So, and I also have accidentally magnetized a couple of my scissors. So, we're going to take this, put it like this. And what did I say? 1.25 inches. Right. So, right there. Right. Now, when we start screwing this down in, we got to watch that screw doesn't grab our ribbon too hard. I just put that in at an odd angle. I didn't want that. All right, let's see what we can do with one of the shorter ones. Okay. I'm going to change the camera angle. See if I can kind of get this as I'm going to scooch this over a little. Don't push too hard. I was just trying to get it started a little. It'll feed itself right down in on that foam core. Okay. Let that ribbon go back. Let's see. How much further do I have? Just a little. Come on. Now I'm going to push a little to get it to go in. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that one. If I get a little bit of ribbon bunch up here, I'm not going to complain, honestly. All right. Ugh. All right, let's try a long one. So, I don't know if you guys have this in your house, but in my house, I have a jar with a bunch of screws in it. Yeah. A lot of times I don't go out and buy these. I find ones that I can just use and make it work. There are a lot of times where I have those make it work moments. Let's see if I can get rid of that shadow a little. Let's see, how much more? A little more. Snug. Snug. Ooh, look at that. No wobble. They are going nowhere unless the 2-year-old grabs it and thinks it's a gumball and runs off with it. Or the dog. I know. Why do I say these things out loud? It's the last thing I want to happen. Promise. but I've seen your posts. I know it happens. And actually, I've had to fix a few doggy disasters in my day. Let's see. Let's see. 1 1/4. Push the ribbon back. There. Yeah. Okay. Just ever so gently, slowly, boringly twisting it down in. Okay. To tell that my ribbon here is all kitty wampus. Come on. Doesn't want to move. So you know what? That's the worst thing that happens on this. I'm okay with it. 1 1/4. And there. Alright. Okay, on the very first one I kind of wiggled it around. Don't do that. Right. This one has a bunch of paint on it, but we should be okay. Twisting, twisting. It's begrudgingly going down in there. Now, one of the nice things about having screws on the bottom is if when you turn it like this and it is really wobbly, you can give it a little half turn back out and it helps stabilize it and straighten it. A lot of times if it's not perfectly flat on the bottom and you do this and all of a sudden you have that major instability. Let's do a little half turn that way, see if that, oh, look at that. There you go. Okay. So this really, with the feet, is quite heavy. Didn't feel the need to put a weight on the interior of this piece. Okay. Bow time. Let's make some bows. Let's turn this back. And I'm going to smooth that fuzzy down. Okay. Here is the satin. Now I have to decide how extreme I want to go. This person wants all the bells and whistles. So do I go like bow kind of simple and then have all of the fun accoutrements on it? How many can it take without becoming disproportionate? I don't know. Do I keep it all white so it's very simple and the color is just the attraction? It's a tough one. So let's start with this. Let's start with the base bow, we'll call it. Okay. How do I want to tie it off? So I can tie it off with fishing line, which is hidden, or I can tie it off with ribbon. I think I'm going to tie it off with fishing. So let's get that prepared. All right. I've got the fishing line in my mouth, so I better take that out, or you're not going to be able to understand instructions for a bow. Oh, I just found my long dowel needle. It was in my other pincushion. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a short tail. I'm gonna take this off. Band-Aid gets reconstituted after being on there. Okay. Base. Oh, I can already tell I'm gonna have to move those pins. Well, maybe not. We have a lot of stuff going in this. Okay, I think that's as wide as I will make the base. I had a whole bunch of different bows to kind of zhuzh it up with, ribbons like this white. But I don't know if I should add the glitter element when this is all glittery below. All right, so this is what I do. Okay, this is double-sided satin, so you can do this easily. You lay it on top, pinch it together. I'm grabbing this. I've been doing this for so many years. I apologize. I try not to go fast for you guys. All right, so now you're going to turn it under, and you're pushing this. Bring this down a little. You're bringing this behind the first layer, behind that loop. Okay. I need lotion on my hands. Okay. Now we're going to do. Now what I did is I grabbed it, pulled it. Okay, and I pinched it. All right. Pinch, 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 pinch. All right. Lay it under. Behind. You're going behind and pushing this under that top layer. Okay, and now I'm grabbing it like this and kind of adjusting it and looking at the length. Because we don't want this one to be way out and this one not. Now we're going to lay in our center. Okay, I need some more ribbon. Right, so we're going to lay the center in, and what I did is it was like this. I pulled it. Push, 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 and pulled it up under my thumb. Okay? And now I wrap it around. And I'm grabbing it like that. And I'm just pinching it against it right on the side, which then leads it naturally right into this bow. But watch, I bring it over the top. Okay. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Kind of pull that. Okay. Now you can see this one's out a little, this one's side a little. Okay. But this one, we're going to make it go under, right? We're rolling it under. Okay. And on the back side, okay, of that layer of loops, you're doing the back side and you're pulling it there. So this goes this way, this comes out here, and we cut it off. This is the time your hand starts to cramp. It does, but this is the time we're going to add a few more by putting it on the underside. Okay, we're just laying that basically flat right underneath it. So we have a few streamers on here. Okay. All right. Too many years of building bows makes for sore thumbs. All right, so I'm feeding that through the center, coming around this side. Okay. Oh, almost lost that loop because I was pulling it up under my thumb. And you can see where the fishing line is denting in, right? And I gotta grab this with my teeth. Hold on. Okay. And now I grab it again. Okay. Pull it with my teeth. Now, I'm getting a second fishing line on this thing and running it through. Because fishing line is notoriously unreliable in bows. It's slippery and you'll be doing something lovely. So I'm bringing it up through like this. Okay. And I'm feeding the line back through the center. Okay. All right. Like that. Spin it around here a little. And now I'm tying it down, cinching it. Hope it doesn't bust. And we're going to do that again. And the other tail is getting in my way. That sounds about par for the course. Okay. All right. Now, I am going to keep all of those little fishing line tails for right now. I'm not going to get rid of them at the moment, I don't think. So, let me look here. Oh, no. Where's the center? Oh, we're good. We're going to hide that little pin that's in there. No one will ever see it. Oh, look, you can't even see what I'm doing. I'm ridiculous with the camera. All right, so we're going to be here. Okay. All right. Yeah. We can bring the bow up in, really loop this up. All right, so we have a bow base. And it's okay. I mean, it's not, you know, I don't know. It's okay. So let's do a couple bow tucks. Not Botox, bow tucks. Right? And that is taking this and doing a loop and squeeze. And a loop and squeeze. All right? Yeah. Let's try this. Okay. And now we're going to take some fishing line. We're going to tie it off. Ah. Now, when I tie this, I want to tie it so the feed comes, the lines come off the side. You can kind of shift it around. Ugh, I'm going to have to remember to not touch my eyes. Pull it like this. Oh, I kind of dig that. Okay, so the next step that we have to do is we have to get this bow onto the top. Okay. So I'm going to leave these long. Okay. All right. We're just going to tuck them up under. Okay. Let's see what we got going on here. Of course, put this back on. This. This off to the side. I do this type of bow for when I do the tops of crib ornaments or the what else do I use them on? The crib ornaments or the Easter eggs or come here. Can't even see what I'm doing. The Easter eggs or things like that. That you have that tuft on the top. Okay. Let's see. Not sure that's the same needle I was just using. Let's make sure it's centered. Yes. And I'm feeling those tails are going to get cut off. So I'm going to come down through the bow, through the ribbon, through the material. Ugh, cannot see. Cannot see where this was. Okay. Okay. Oh, I gotta move back so I can see. We're gonna kind of mash this bow up here. Okay. And we're gonna come back through the center. Just keep pulling it through. And sewing it down. And yes, I see the pins glaring at me. I'll definitely be pretty sure they're going to be taken out. Okay, and one more time. Okay. I'm just going to put a knot in. And I'm going to feed that tail back under, away, right? Okay. All right, so now we have our base bow mushed to oblivion. All right. Now, if it starts getting a little too outrageous, well, you know, that's okay. Outrageous isn't bad as long as it doesn't get so nuts that you can't see, oh, where'd my loops go? Okay, so what you do is you just, I don't even know if I might want to slide it right up under these tails. Okay, so I'm taking my 2 fishing lines. I'm sliding that under. I'm pulling it in to the base ribbon. And I like it. So now, take our fishing line and we just pull it tight. And knot it right around that base. Okay, I think we're only going to do 2 of these. I don't think we need more than that because it's a very big ribbon. If we do too much bigger, it's just going to get a little nutsy looking. Now, I could have built it right into it. The ribbon, I could have layered it and layered it and layered it. Sometimes that gets a little too much to be handled in your hand. Can't do that with my thumb guard on, thumb gripper. Okay, sorry, but I have to use my teeth as my third appendage, I guess. All right, so now we slide this. We give it a yank this way and a yank this way. This is why we love wired ribbon. Okay, and we're going to slide that fishing line right under. Okay. I should have used longer fishing line. It's okay. I'll figure it out. Okay. All right. So there's that. There's that. Okay. Now this little funky. Okay. I like that. Yep. Unfortunately, because of the friggin' lighting in here, it's made that so dark that you can't see it. So I'm going to cut these tails off. Ah. Maybe not such a major angle. There we go. I'm going to do the same on this side. Make sure we don't cut through anything important. Cheese and crust. Satin ribbon. Such a pain. But it's so pretty. Satin ribbon really is beautiful. It's just a total pain in the tush. Okay. Now, again, the decision becomes how much do we do the reds and the greens? I think we keep it crystal. I think so. Let's see what we can do with this stuff. Let's see. So we have an abundance of tendrils. Right, so that's to loop there. That one. Can just kind of come out of the bow. Unfortunately, I see gluing in our future into this bow. I really want to try to not do that, but I do not like this white paper tape that's on it. Okay, hold on a second. I went into my okay, so white floral tape out of my whatever catch-all bin, and I started taping over the paper wrap that they had on this. And it really, to me, what is interesting is when you do things like this is you want to make it look like it's intentional, not like it was manufactured. You want to kind of give them different bends and bring them different ways so it's more interesting. Okay. And I'm going to cut the end here. I just had one of those moments where I did something and I looked up and the camera wasn't running because I thought I'd hit it and I hadn't. All right, let's see what this is going to look like. How far can I go? This. There. Okay. Maybe a little more. And the reason I'm saying that is I don't want a ton going beyond the end, but I'm okay with that. All right, so let's just back that off. I do not know where my good wire cutters are, but these are not them. All right, we're going to take that out. We're going to take this one out. And do exactly what we just did to the other one. Brought this one a little bit below there. Supposed to be this kind of dangly thing, but it doesn't really dangle. Bring it a little lower. All right. Let's try this one. All right. Gotta tape this down. All right. Thing like that. Let's see if I can get this to go under bow in the other direction. This. Okay. And we'll put some down in here. Sometimes I have a hard time with this because I really don't want to go too over the top craziness. Um, Maybe if this one. I'll take all of these this time. Kind of. I don't want to cluster them because this bugger. There we go. We're going to cut this one shorter. Not a ton, but a little. I'm trying to put this so that it is in a place where I can get it under a into a secured area. I don't know. Looks like a weird alien sticking out there. Yeah. I'm not going to have a choice there. I do it up. Well, for my big bottle. All right, so I need to make 1, 2, 3, 4 clusters of that. I did put a curve at the bottom so it slid under. I'm tacking that in with glue. I'm gonna let it dry overnight, and then I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna try to do like a whip stitch around the bottom. You know, stitch around it. I'm gonna try. Actually, the next one I might do fishing line with. All right, let's get 4 of these put together. It's that and that. Okay, there's one. Well, that's interesting. That one's a shorty. Two. There's another change up. A larger pearl. Oh well. Need to make that longer. Or shove that in further. That is just gonna like bug the heck out of me. Alright, hold on. Okay, I guess I got it in there further than I thought I did. Leave that on longer this time. Like that. And how did I put that in there? No idea. No idea. Stop. Oh, I think I know what I did. I slid it. Cut that. I gotta. Right in. Bow is. Nope. Yep. That's where it goes. Right there. Then I don't even think I got it in far enough. Cheese and crackers. Mhm. All right, well, guess what? Going through, cutting everybody the same length. I am so close to done. I don't know if you can tell or not, but it has gotten very dark in my studio since I started. Yep, it goes right where I had that one. All right, try this again. Oh, hold on. Okay, almost there. All right. Oof. That thing got all discombobulated. All right. Hmm. That is interesting. And that, that. It's okay like that. I'm gonna cut this. And cut. Oh, come on. Okay. And last one. There we go. All right. Okay, well, I hope that this helps you with doing finishing your boxed ornament, stand-up footed needlepoint pieces. And good luck and happy finishing.